The Aztecs were a certain group of American Indians who spoke the language of Nahuatl. Their capital was located at Tenochtitlan in nowadays Mexico City and ruled around 15 million people. The Aztecs were the descendants of the Asian people who came to the Americas during the most recent Ice Age. Their final and most known ruler, Moctezuma, was in power for around 18 years, gaining this power by succeeding the previous ruler, Quetzalcoatl.
The religious aspect of the Aztec daily life heavily affected their beliefs and lives.
Aztecs were very religious, performing very drastic rituals to appease the sun gods, which were performed on an altar on top of the temple maya. The purpose of these rituals was to make sure that the sun gods would let the sun rise again the next day. These offerings were generally very drastic, consisting of the removal of a human heart, which would be held up to the gods, and the body would fall down the steps, feeding the local farm animals. An incision was placed below the rib cage, and they would pull the heart out with an obsidian blade.
The Aztecs consisted of a very structured society with the king at the top and the commoners at the bottom. In between these different roles included the council, the nobles, and the merchants and the artists. These roles meant various different responsibilities for them, such as commoners consisted of slaves and farmers who made crops and food for the town.
Very much like the commoners, the merchants and artists provided the town's goods and various other specialities. These goods were sold in local markets, which helped sustain the local economy.
The Aztecs also created their very own calendar. Very much like the Christian calendar or the Gregorian calendar, that it consisted of 365-day year cycle. 260 of them were dedicated to their specific rituals. Only once in every 52 years was where the two calendars realigned in perfect sync.
Art was created by the Aztecs and was usually in the form of poetry, murals, music, or paintings. They created art as a way of expressing their opinion or to show religious sacrifice.
The architecture was often in the form of roads, houses, palaces, or shrines or temples. Many of these buildings were mainly created in cedar or wood and stone. Various buildings consisted of 4 to 5 layers due to the fact that the Aztecs would simply build over the top of an old temple instead of knocking it down. Aztecs engaged in warfare to gain land, resources, defeat rebellions, and obtain sacrificial victims to appease the gods.
Warfare was a large part of the Aztec culture, as all males were expected to take part in battle. The leader of their military was the king himself, who was assisted by the second in command. Then came the highest 4 nobles in the land, and then the diverse unit of warriors who were able to move up in ranks based on how well they performed in battle.
The warriors wore padded cotton armor. They carried a wooden or reed shield and wielded weapons such as a sharp sword called makahito or a spear and dart thrower called a tartu. The other warriors held bows and arrows.
In conclusion, the Aztec daily life was very sophisticated for its time, but had a few flaws which led to their downfall in 1521.